I hear you're dating or interested in dating a Sagittarius. Here are some prerequisites that you need to have for this bumpy ride to be the most fun for you. Number one, you're not expecting someone to take care of you or to cuddle your feelings. You don't need a lot of emotional reassurance and you don't need a lot of caretaking. If you can say yes to both of those things, then yes, your application can move forward. Number two, you get easily bored and you will much rather have excitement in your life than a mundane, predictable life. And you're willing to risk comfort for the sake of chasing your next adventure. If that sounds like your vibe, then your application is moving forward. For Sagittarius, the very worst thing that can ever happen to them is to stop growing. So growth is what drives the ship, not comfort or stability. Number three, you can handle hard truths without losing your mind. You can handle hard emotional truths without turning into a child. Sagittarius is very big on facing reality exactly for what it is. They do bitter truths very well. They do it with themselves, so naturally they will also feed it to you. If you don't have a large appetite for bitter truths, then this is not going to work. You have to remember Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is one of the outer planets. Anytime you're dating someone that is ruled by the outer planets, you're dating someone who's going to be slightly emotionally detached. So the emotional intensity that people who are closer to the sun feel is not shared by the zodiac signs that are further away from the sun. So they require you to have some level of emotional regulation that allows you to be able to sit with the discomfort of the truth. Next, personal freedom. One of the cool things about dating a Sagittarius is that they have zero interest in emotional merging. You know how some couples get together and they can't wait to become one? Sagittarius has zero desire to become one with anyone other than themselves. So if you two do not like the idea of 1 + 1 = 1, then you're a great fit for Sagittarius, because for Sagittarius, 1 + 1 = 2. They want you to stay your true authentic self and they want to be able to do the same. And in their fantasy, you should both derive pleasure from being authentically who you are, but together. Which takes me to my next point. It's really important to be secure in yourself as an individual, because Sagittarius is a fairly independent zodiac sign and they don't do well with people who are vastly insecure about their identity, about their wants, about their needs, and people that don't have a strong sense of self. They do much better with people that are autonomous. That way the partnership is really something that's happening out of a choice to spend time together rather than out of an obligation or out of codependency. Sagittarius doesn't do well with people draining them of their energy. If you're going to be in a long-term relationship with a Sagittarius, all of these elements need to be in place. Now, there are going to be other aspects of their personality that will gel well with anyone short-term, but the ones I just mentioned are required for long-term companionship. Now, on to other qualities that work, whether you're in a long-term or short-term relationship with them. Because it's hard to get them to commit to a long-term relationship, I wanted to get those big ones out of the way first. Philosophy. Sagittarius is huge on philosophy. They are the philosopher of the zodiac. There are several other philosophers. All the mutable signs are philosophers. But for Sagittarius, it takes more of a psychological, emotional, and spiritual angle. Sagittarius has excellent perspective when life gets complicated. They don't do woe is me. They don't do, oh, boom, why is life so hard on me? They're not into that. They're into seeing things exactly for what they are and then coming up with a solution that works. They find beauty and wisdom in everything, including disaster, and that's part of their charm. In addition to keeping you focused on the bigger picture, they're also excellent at being loyal in relationships when they truly love you. Their loyalty is not something they hand out to everybody because they don't really like commitment. So when they give it to you, it's deep and they mean it and it's serious. When they have the free will to choose you for themselves, they're willing to do any and everything for you. The main thing is that you give them the space to choose you. Sagittarius cannot and will not be controlled in relationships. So if you're somebody who likes to manipulate people so you can have control, you will lose them. Next, Sagittarius naturally has a growth mindset. Being ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, they're always trying to develop themselves, whether it's their character, their relationship, their work ethic, their philosophy, their spirituality, their emotional well-being. They're a bit devoted to this idea of constantly being better than they were yesterday. They wake up every day wanting to be better than they were yesterday. This is why it's so weird to them when other people get in competition with them, because they don't engage with that. They engage with themselves because they want to be a master of their own domain. So if you're someone who's not afraid of destroying old versions of yourself so you can morph into a higher, better, more efficient, more conscious, more effective version of yourself, then a Sagittarius is for you, because that is literally all that they're about. They're very committed to their own personal development. Next, you have to like fun. Sagittarius is one of the most fun zodiac signs because they are a fire sign. All fire signs are super fun. The difference is Sagittarius being a mutable sign that can go high speed or slow motion. Unlike some of the others, Aries is high speed preferred, Leo is stable preferred, and for Sagittarius, it's high and low. So there's a lot of eclectic energy that comes with that. Also, their sense of adventure is very high. Their sense of curiosity about the world is very high. So you're going to be having one in a lifetime type of experiences that you've probably never had, because they're bold, they're daring, they're willing to chase their heart's desire at all cost. So naturally, that comes with a lot of passion and a huge hunger to experience something new. What they don't like is reliving the same life every day. They want every day to feel like a magical experience. Next, you have to love freedom. Not just freedom for them, but freedom for yourself. Sagittarius is a zodiac sign who needs you to feel free when you're in relationship with them. And they need to feel free when they're in relationship with you. They're not the type that would ever get jealous or controlling or try to own you. They have no desire to change you into somebody that you're not. They'll encourage you to own your voice, to choose your path, to heal, to be who you are, exactly the way that you are, while continuing to work to develop yourself. They will encourage you to own your essence. There's nothing they hate more than somebody who is a copycat, because they're very secure in their own energy and they want partners that also love being in their own energy. And it's not about them possessing you as it is about them feeling honored to be able to share in your pure, authentic energy. That's what they really want. They want access to something pure and real. This is exactly why Sagittarius is one of the least judgmental zodiac signs. They give you room to be yourself, so naturally they expect the same energy. Lastly, one of the most potent reasons for dating a Sagittarius is because you're interested in analysis. You like being both intellectually and emotionally challenged. If the answer to that question is no, a Sagittarius is not for you. The Sagittarian is the truth seeker of the zodiac. That means they came here to find meaning in all of life, not just the good, happy moments, but also the dark, twisted ones. In all of life's moments, they're interested in finding meaning and purpose. So you have to be somebody who's emotionally deep to be able to be in a relationship with a Sagittarius. It could excite you, it could terrify you. Either way, it would be memorable because they will challenge you on every level so you can further develop yourself. And they do this naturally because they're constantly challenging themselves as well. Are you currently dating a Sagittarius, or have you ever dated one? What do you think of this description? If you're built for this level of exploration and chaos, it's going to be one of the most memorable experiences of your entire life. This much I know. Thinking about dating a Sagittarius? Don't. In fact, I'm going to give you 10 good reasons why you should not go on that journey. Number 1, the communication style of the Sagittarius is aggressive. Remember, Sagittarius is a masculine sign. It is a fire sign. All fire signs are masculine signs. In addition, Sagittarius is the oldest of the fire signs. So when they speak, they mean what they say, and it's like a bulldozer. In the world of alchemy, masculinity for fire is described this way, like a triangle. Have you ever seen Jay-Z and Beyonce do this? Well, Jay-Z is a fire sign. If you're easily hurt by words and you're easily hurt by people who are not interested in cuddling you and your emotions, a Sagittarius is not for you. Because they are blunt, they are direct, they are aggressive. Number 2, Sagittarius is easily bored with life. As a result, they're always chasing something new, something interesting. If you're not into surprises and you don't like spur of the moment activities, a Sagittarius is not for you. Number 3, a Sagittarius is less interested in shallow conversation when compared to some of the other zodiac signs. They really value intellectual, emotional, and spiritual depth. If you don't like conversations that are deep and that are about saying ugly truths out loud and being comfortable with the reality of what life is, which is very complex, a Sagittarius may not be a good fit for you. For a lot of people, they like quick boxes. This is good, this is bad. Your Sagittarius is going to want to explain why there is no such thing as good and bad, because all of it is life. And that may rub you the wrong way because the way they think is different. It's bizarre. It's unique. Number 4, if you are looking for a love relationship that is routine, that is consistent, that is predictable, a Sagittarius is not the right choice for you. In fact, Sagittarians do not approach romance or relationships from a traditional point of view. They approach them from a spiritual and ethical point of view. What they're looking for is a companion, a partner in crime, a colleague, if you will, with whom they're going to be going on this life journey with. So if you need someone that's going to be predictable, someone that's always going to be around, someone that's going to be someone that you can always count on, someone whose next move you can guess, you can anticipate, someone who likes routine, then a Sagittarius is not good for that. Sagittarius in the traditional sense detest repetition, consistency, boredom. They associate that with life that is dull. Remember, Sagittarius is the explorer of the zodiac, so stability equals boring. Number 5, a Sagittarius struggles with FOMO. The grass is always greener on the other side. This means that when you're in a relationship with them, they see you as who you could be, not necessarily who you are. And oftentimes when you're not able to live up to who you could be, they can lose interest. They can move on to someone else that may have more potential for growth. They have a hard time staying in the present and living in the present. They're very future oriented with their awareness, with their consciousness, with their understanding of the world. And anything that is in the here and now is considered mundane. And that can make it hard for you to slow them down enough to have a deep emotional connection. Number 6, they love debates. They love to debate. They love to argue. And if you're someone who does not enjoy being intellectually challenged, you may perceive their attempts to engage you in a debate as an argument, as a fight. It doesn't help that when they're debating you, they can also come across as arrogant, almost as if they're implying that they have some sort of superior, intellectual or moral code. If you don't like being pulled into debates and cornered into heated conversations with someone who believes they are smarter than you and knows more than you, then a Sagittarius is not somebody you want to date. And it's not necessarily that they are, and I'm not sure that most times they're actually thinking they're smarter than you. It's simply that they believe they're right. So they enter the conversation from a place of thinking that they have all the answers and they know that they're right. And that's what makes the conversation challenging. It's not necessarily that they think you're a lesser human being than them. Number 6, an unevolved Sagittarius is going to struggle with emotional intimacy. These are people that can give you wild, passionate romance, but when it's time to actually talk about the difficult things in the relationship so the relationship can improve, they won't be supportive of that. They're not going to be there. They don't know how to sit with the discomfort that comes along with being in a relationship. You're going to have tough conversations. Sagittarius is not big on emotional availability around those kinds of things. That only means that the depth of emotions in your relationship can end up being very shallow. Number 8, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of knowledge and expansion. Means the facts are very important to them. This is why Sagittarius doesn't care when you try to tell them about themselves, because if it's the truth, their response is yes, and they're very dismissive of the emotional implications of the facts. Sagittarius can be deeply emotionally insensitive in favor of logic. The facts of the conversation are more important to them. So if you value a partner who's emotionally intelligent, do not date a Sagittarius, because their attempts communicating with you will come with truth arrows given to them by Jupiter that will bloody through your heart, and Sagittarius won't understand why you have any feelings about what just happened, because to them, this is the reality. Number 8, they value experience over roots and connection. Sagittarius is here to see the world and experience the world fully and take chances. Emotional intimacy in a relationship is important to the extent that it does not get in the way of their growth. If the relationship makes them feel stifled, they will leave the relationship so they can go develop their character. You will often find yourself coming second to their pursuits. Remember, the archer is traveling. They're searching for information and experiences. And when the relationship itself does not harmonize with that energy, Sagittarius will break away to go fulfill their soul's destiny. Freedom is the most important thing to a Sagittarius. Which takes me to my last point. Number 10. If the relationship hinders their freedom and starts to feel like control, it's not going to work. Sagittarius hates being tied down. And oftentimes in relationships, people love tying the other person down and controlling the other person and setting up traps to put the other person in certain positions. Sagittarius is not interested in these games, and they will not engage. Remember, they're half horse, half human. So they have the intellect to understand when the situation is feeling confined, and the wild horse animalistic instincts to just take off. The only commitments that Sagittarius will honor are the ones that they willingly choose. But if you're the emotionally manipulative type who thinks you can corner them into, a long-term relationship that they don't want to be a part of, you're in for a rude awakening, because that is the very last zodiac sign that does commitment. It will simply vanish to another country, and you would wonder what happened, and they're not thinking about you. Have you ever dated a Sagittarius that was unevolved? These are some of the worst traits, but I wanted you to know that even if they are evolved, there's going to be some degrees of that energy that you'll have to deal with. What do you think of my description, and what was your experience like? You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.